Hello everyone, welcome back to Data Science Monster. I'm Premlata. Today we are going to explore the journey of building an AI model from start to finish. Don't worry if you are new to this, I will explain everything in depth and also in layman term. So let us first have a look at the ML workflow. It starts with the business understanding till deployment and feedback. So let us now first try to understand the first step, business understanding, which is nothing but also called as problem statement. So what is meant by business understanding? This is where we figure out what problem we are solving. Imagine a bank wants to know which customers might not pay back their loans. Think of it like knowing um, which of your friends might conveniently forget their wallet at a dinner, right? We all know someone like this, right? So our goal here is to predict who might default the loan, helping the bank make smarter decisions. Then step two is analytic approach. So next we decide on the analytic approach. So how we can relate it with a real-time example? This is like choosing the recipe for our AI project. Say for example, I want to make a classification model. So what is meant by classification model? Like this or that. For example, you just have a confusion whether I'm going for vanilla cake or chocolate cake, right? So our model will classify, for example, in this particular problem statements like the default or prediction, our model will classify customers into two groups. Those who will pay back the loan and those who might not. So it is our job to choose the right type of model, just like picking the perfect cake flavor for a party. So the third step is about data requirements. So now whenever we talk about cake, so what all ingredients could be required for it? The point that's coming to our mind is about the flour, butter, milk, egg, sugar, etc. Right? So now here, these are the ingredients which are helpful to make the cake. So now we are trying to make a model. So for that, we need data to build our model. So we will need information like customers' data, customers' income, credit score, payment history, number of dependents, the property area, loan amount term, etc. So then comes the fourth step after getting to know about the data requirements. The next step is about data collection. So it is important to collect the data, right? So let's go back to the cake example. We need the ingredients, right? Everything may not be at the home. So what we do, we just go to the superstores and then we try to purchase all the ingredients. So now in this particular problem statement, if you see, we need all these record like applicant income, co-applicant income, number of dependents, everything, right? So we might get some data from the bank's records, maybe some from public sources, and combine it all. So it's like a treasure hunt, but instead of finding gold, we are finding useful information. So the next step is about data understanding. So now we have our data and now we have to try to understand the data. So we get to know our data better, like checking if we have got sugar and not salt, right? Sometimes like if we are a beginner in cooking, you could have seen people who don't even know by looking at that they may not be able to identify whether it is salt or sugar. Sometimes sugar can be a powdered one, right? So only by tasting, maybe like the beginners would be knowing. So likewise, like if you look at the data, immediately we cannot understand. It's a kind of like a data visualization technique, something we do, and we try to understand what it means. And like we can also see like whether we could derive any inference out of it or not. So this step helps us make sure our data is good enough to use, just like making sure our cake ingredients are fresh and ready to go. So the next step you can see like a data preparation. So what is data preparation? We clean, we organize our data, kind of like measuring and mixing our ingredients before baking, right? So we have to fix errors. We need to handle missing data, or we have to convert it into a format that our model can understand. So this step is all about getting the data ready for the oven, or in our case, the AI model. So when we talk about data preparation, let's take the first example of no, like the cake one, right? The cake one. It is important that like all the ingredients should be ready, and the beating of eggs, all that has to be kept in prior to that, right? So likewise, when we talk about our data, we can see there would be a lot of missing values. There can be outliers, which is nothing but extreme observations. I have already posted one video regarding outliers. If you want, I can have the link here. You can just check with that. And also there can be categorical columns. For example, education or gender. These are categorical columns. So how we are going to deal that with the machine learning? Data redundancy. There can be some sort of data duplicacy in our data set. So how we are going to handle it? So the next steps comes like a modeling. So now we started preparing cake, right? So the process is being started. So now if you connect with that, now what is our goal? We just want to train our model using the prepared data. So we are making the model, or we are teaching it to recognize patterns and make predictions. So it's a bit like letting our cake bake until it's perfectly done. So we have to be patient and let the model learn. So once the cake is done, what do we do? Might be we would be tasting it and check whether everything is fine or not, because at certain with the certain dishes definitely we can change it, say like if particular ingredient is less, we can add to it, right? So the last step comes like deployment and feedback. So once our model is trained, we would be moving on to evaluation. So here we test the model to see if it works well, just like testing our cake to see if it is delicious. So we check if the model accurately predicts who will default on their loans. So if it is not quite, if it is not actually too good, we have to tweak it, maybe add a pinch more sugar or bake a little longer. Likewise, we have to tweak the hyperparameters, and we have to deploy it. This is where we serve our cake to the guest, or in our case, make the model available for the bank to use. Now the bank can use the model to make better decisions about giving out loans. And finally, we would be having the feedback. Okay, just like what we would ask our friends for feedback on the cake, we gather feedback on our model performance. So we check if it is helping the bank make better decisions, and we use this feedback to improve the model over time. So this is the entire process of building an AI model explained with a cake analogy. Hope this made it easier to understand. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below with your thoughts or questions. Until next time, keep learning and experimenting. See you soon.